Hi friends, it's Deanna here today, and today I'm going to do a little hack to create an overalls pattern. I saw a pattern, I saw a inspiration that I really liked for some overalls, and I thought, what pattern can I use to do this? I want to use Ellie and Mac patterns because I love Ellie and Mac patterns, so I'm going to hack a pattern and I'm going to add a bib to it and create some overalls. So let's hope it works. Let's do it together. So I was thinking, what pattern would I like to do this with? The inspiration that I saw had really flared bottoms. So I wanted the bottoms to have a little bit of movement. So I thought the Southshore Romper bottoms have a little bit of, they have that gathered waist and a little bit of movement. And I've hacked them before to be more of a straight leg, so it just continues to kind of open up a little bit. So that's what I'm doing with my bottoms. I'm just doing the Southshore Romper, but instead of them tapering at the leg, I'm just going to continue the line out so that it's more of a straight leg, more of an open leg. So I'm going to do that, and I'm not going to adjust the rise or anything like that. I want to see how it ends up, and then, depending on that, I might take it down a little bit or whatever. We'll see, because this is just, we're just trying out different things. The purpose of these videos is really for you to see that if there's something in your mind that you want to create, just go for it and try different things and try to figure out how you can do it. And I know that sometimes it seems like a daunting task, but I think you can do it, and I want to give you that confidence, so that's why I'm doing it with you. So anyway, after I do those pants, we're going to try to create a bib for the to go along, so it'll be more of a so it'll be like an overalls pattern. Now in the back, I'm just going to do the crisscross straps. So I'm not doing a bib or whatever you call it for the back. I'm not doing that. I'm just doing it for the front. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some paper and create a paper pattern for the front. I'm going to have it kind of like it goes straight and then it goes out a little bit in the sides. So it kind of goes out like this. So it's like more like a trapezoid, I don't know, shape to it. So that's what I'm doing with the bib part of it. I wasn't planning on putting a pocket on it, but maybe later if we decide to do a pocket, I might add a pocket, like a patch pocket later. We'll see how it ends up. For the straps, I think I'm just going to either we could just put a button on there and then just put buttonholes on the straps so we can button it. You could do grommets and just place it right through and tie it, and so it'll just be like a knot going through. Or you could do buckles for the overalls. So we'll see about that. We'll probably just put some interfacing in that area, and that should cover all your bases for whatever you want to do after we finish the garment. But yeah, that's all I'm doing. So let's get started. I have this gorgeous fabric from Olga's Closet. I got it in French terry because I'm obsessed with French terry. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my bottoms out, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do to the top. I use this pattern so much that some of the pages had come unglued, so I'm just putting them back together again. So here's the capri length, but I'm going all the way to the full length. But what I mean by not letting them narrow in, I want a more straight, open, wide leg. Right here, do you see that if you were to put a ruler, let's do this one, out, you will see that it starts going in towards the leg to taper it in a little bit. Instead of doing that, I'm gonna go straight out and continue the line on both sides so that I have more of a flared open bottom at the end. Instead of it going in, it's going to just be open flare a little bit, because that's just my preference. Now if you don't want to do that, you obviously don't have to. You can continue to cut of the bottoms, and you can use whatever bottoms you want to use with this. I just wanted to use this one, so that's why I went with the Southshore Romper. But I also had the not so basic pants in mind for this pattern, for this hack, so but I went with these ones. So let me go ahead and cut them, and I'm going to do that same line with the back, with the front. And you can see I did not take any length of the waist, so it's gonna go up a little bit. So we'll see if it's too low, then I would adjust here where there's a line to make that shorter, make it lower. And I have a video here on our channel about how to adjust your rise, so you can go ahead and do that, but I want them to be higher rise. So that means that when I do the bib, it's gonna be shorter, so it's not to offset, but we'll see when we get there. Alright, my bottoms are cut out and ready to be sewn. I am probably going to add some pockets just to have pockets. But now we're going to work on the front of the bodice. So this is going to, the only thing I'm kind of questioning is the fact that the Southshore romper goes a little bit higher. It sits at the waist, and so then from then on it's the bib. So I don't know if I want to make like a shorter bib or if I want to in fact lower the raise of the bottoms, so that way they sit a little bit lower. So we'll get to that when I'm gonna probably just stitch it on with a basting stitch and see what it fits like, and then fix it from there. I do want the bib front to be a little bit oversized. I don't want it to be like tight against my body. So I think it's gonna be okay, but we'll see once we get to that. So what I'm going to do is I've got this piece of paper that I'm gonna create a pattern for my bodice basically. So you can use different things to do this. You can use like a mannequin if you have one, but I'm just gonna show you real quickly right here. The shape that I want on my bib is I want it to be straight at the top. So I kind of want to go from one point, just figure out how wide you want that top, the top to be. So I have my pattern, my paper here, and I'm gonna go right to basically like where my bra straps are is where I want to go. So I'm gonna mark that here. And honestly, what I'm going to do is, I know I put two pieces of paper together. You probably can't tell, but there's a line right here where I tape them together. But I'm probably going to do this on the fold. That way it will be the same on both sides. So I put it right in the middle. The middle line is right in the middle, and then each side goes out to where like my bra strap is, and I marked it. So this is the both sides, but like I said, I'm gonna do it on the fold, so I'm just gonna mark one side. And then at the bottom, again, put that mark, the middle, right in the middle, and go to the sides and see how far out you want it. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and go to the edge of the paper, and that will give me let's just say that already has a seam allowance on it. So it's coming like pretty much all the way to my side. So it depends on how wide you want it, and then you'll have to add seam allowance, but I'm just gonna call it that. So I have right here is where I wanted to start. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this. I have this ruler that it's an edged, curved edge. You see how it like curves? And I'm going to use this one to kind of curve out my, my top. So I'm going to start here at the top, and we're going to go all the way to that edge. And so we're going to curve out towards the edge. Let's see. I want it to curve, but not so much that it's like that way. So if you don't have a curved edge, you really can just do like a straight line. It'd just be more of a straight bib. I just wanted it to be a little bit curved. So let me do first, I'm gonna do a straight line like that. And then when I put the curved ruler, you'll see, I'll show you how it kind of curves in. But I'm trying to, my curved ruler is not as long, so I'm just going to continue to like kind of move it down so it curves all the way to the bottom. As you can see, it's basically the same, it's just curved a little bit. So there it is, and then now I'm going to go ahead and cut at that curve. Honestly, the curve does the same thing basically than the straight. So either one would work. I'm just trying out different things. And then I'm going to cut it on the fold. So this is going to be my fold here, because I want them to be the same on both sides. So that's why I'm cutting on the fold. Sometimes it's easier to cut on the fold, unless you go ahead and cut like this, and then you open the piece back up, and now you've got your bib area. Okay, so as you can see right here, it'll be my bib, and it's tall enough that I'm not going to add any seam allowance here at the top. That's going to be my seam allowance, and this is going to be my seam allowance. Hopefully it hits right like around my waist, so hopefully this will be big enough. So it's just like a shape, like this kind of shape. Now if you're trying it for yourself and you're not sure, I recommend to use like fabric that you it's not like something that you're going to be sad if it doesn't work for the bib. The bottoms I know will work because I've done the Southshore romper before many times. So this is just going to be the bodice. So if this doesn't work, then I'm just using up a little bit of fabric, this much of fabric. So I think I'll be okay. I can always make it smaller. I think this is a little bit bigger. So if I needed to make it smaller, it will be okay. I'm going to cut 2 of these because I'm going to basically, they're going to be lined. So it's going to be, I'm going to face them together, right sides together, and then I'm going to sew them together. Another thing you can do with the straps is if you didn't want to have them out like overalls, you can always sew them in. So you would try them on, and then before you sew the front and back together, you would fit them in there and sew them into the garment, or top stitch them into the garment. It's up to you, but I'm not going to do that option. That's another option you can do. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut my bib with this right here, and then I'll make the straps later by measuring how long I want them, and then figuring out how thick I would want the bands. But that's an easy step we can do later. All right, so this is my piece for the area for the front, for the bib. And now what I'm going to do is I need to create a band that is going to be at the waist, that is going to grab my bottoms at the bottom and then my my bib at the top. So I have, what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure my waist, and I'm going to make it double the, like my waist size minus a couple of inches. So if you want it to be tight at the waist, you want to bring it in a lot. You want to minus 2 or 3 inches. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make it my waist size, because I don't mind if it's a little bit not super tight at the waist. And we'll see how that goes. And if I feel like, oh, it needs to be tighter, then I'll take it in a little bit. But I'm just going to do my waist size, so it just kind of hangs, because overalls kind of hang. So I don't want it to be super, super tight on my waist. So I'll probably do just my regular waist size. And then when I take my seam, when I stitch it together, I'll lose like an inch. So that will be like an inch less than my waist size. So that's what I'm doing for my band. Oh, and then the length, because you double it, and I don't want it to be super thick, but I want it to be about a couple of inches. Let me see how much this is. Yeah, a couple of inches. So then I'm going to do it by like 4.5, because that means I have a little half an inch seam allowance to stitch it on. And I need 2 pieces, so I'm going to do 2 bands, a front and a back, by 2.5 inches each. That's what I'm going to do, because I want to end up sandwiching. I'm going to sandwich the bodice on the top. I'm going to sandwich, and I'm going to sew on the skirt to the bottom. So yeah, we're going to need 2. So I'm going to do 2 by 2.5 inches each. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sew up the pants and get those ready. And then for the top, the bodice top, like I said, I'm not going to fit them in here. If you were going to fit them in there, you don't want to sew this up together yet, because you would want to fit those in, and then I would probably fold them down and then top stitch them with the straps in there, but that's not what I'm doing. So I am going to sew them up. So I'm going to grab the front and back, and then I can sew them up right sides together to create that bib area. And then the bottom, I'm not going to sew up yet, because I'm going to sew it onto my, I'm going to sandwich it between my 2 straps. So you don't have to sew that close. You can just baste it close if you want, but I'm going to end up sandwiching it on those once I turn it right side out. So I'm gonna sew, we'll start by sewing the top and sides of this together and then sewing, making our pants. Sewing the crotch seam, right sides together. Now I'm gonna sew the side seams together. If you're adding pockets, you would put the pockets on first. I think I'm gonna omit the pockets on this one. You know, I love pockets. I have a love-hate relationship with pockets. I like them and then I also don't like them. So I probably will just skip the pockets for now. But we're doing side seams together, right sides together, and then the inseam right sides together. All right, for our bodice, I'm gonna turn it right side out. And I forgot that we wanna put some interfacing here on the inside part, where we're going to attach our grommets or whatever we're going to attach. We want to put some interfacing here because you want to make sure that it's stable enough. It's not going to just rip right out. So let me put some interfacing there. I'm not really sure which one I want it to be the front because it's got this sun on it, and I don't want them to be right in an inappropriate spot. So I'm not sure how that's going to look once I put it on. So I might try it on and see which one I want to be the front. I also don't know if I want one right in the middle, so I'm gonna see which one I like better. So I'm just gonna put interfacing on both sides. All right, so now that I've got this ready, I'm gonna grab my waistband that I cut out and I put somewhere. Here it is. And I'm going to find the half of the waistband. I'm also going to find the half of my bodice. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sandwich my waistband, my bodice into my waistbands. So here's one side. Actually, let me put this one down like this. And find the half of the other one as well. So I'm going to match up the half right here, right sides together. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same and sandwich this bodice, put the other one on top. And then at the bottom is where I'm going to attach the bottoms. So I'm going to go all the way to one side and make sure that they are cut in there, the bodice is cut in there, and I'm going to continue all the way down because I want that bottom to be sewn together. I mean, well, this will end up being the top of the waist of the waistband, and then this bottom part right here will be the bottom of the waistband. I need to get more clips. I've been stepping on them and breaking them, and so I need to re-up my supply. That's the one thing about clips. If you step on them, you break them. But I guess that's better than stepping on pins and, you know, stabbing yourself. All right, so now that that's sewn together, we're gonna fold this down and steam that seam. That's my waistband right there. And my top is basically done because I'm just going to bring the straps and attach them here, either by opening a buttonhole and bring them through, or putting grommets on, or sewing them on. If I just want to sew them on and fold like a full tie, it's up to you. And so then all the way around it comes down on this side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew those two sides, right sides together at the edge. Hold on, I'm going to show you in a minute. Let me steam these down. Okay, so you can actually tie this around your waist and make sure it fits correctly around the back and as tight as you want it. If you wanted it bigger, then you can make it bigger. It's up to you, add more to it. But once you've got that size that you want, I'm going to attach them right sides together here at the edge, because our next step will be, once that's sewn together, that'll become your waistband right here. and that will be attached. Now I'm going to attach this to my bottoms. Okay, so that's the wrong side, this is the right side. And I'm going to attach this to my bottom, the top of my pants. Okay, so I'm going to go, while I'm at it, I'm going to put a gathering stitch on my pants so I can gather in the width of my bodice. All right, so now what I've got is my bottoms right here. They're a little bit gathered, and I've got my bodice right here. So now I'm going to attach them right sides together. Make sure that you're using the right side of the bodice, and the front matches the front and the back matches the back. Make sure that I just used a long basting stitch, so I'm just going to pull my bobbin thread and make sure it's, it's going to fit. So I'm just going to pull in and kind of gather a little bit so it'll fit. So once that's gathered how you want it to be and they're all even and everything, then I can grab it and fit it right in. Again, right sides together. Let me make sure I got this. Right sides together. Here's my middle. Is it my middle? You want to make sure. Here's the front, the back together. Go to the front and mark it. Make sure that that's my middle. And then mark my sides too. Now, because I'm not sure about my rise yet, you can go ahead and you could baste these two together right now first and try them on and see what you think about the rise. If it's too high, if the crotch hangs too low, then that means that you want to take off some of this rise, which again, you can do on the pattern first before you do this. But I kind of wanted it to be a little bit high rise, so that's why I didn't. I just figured I'd go ahead and try it at this level of rise. And if for some reason when I try it on, it's like, ooh, it's a little too high, then maybe I can bring it down a little bit. So that's why I just went with how high the Southshore rompers are. But it is up to you. If you want something that's a little bit lower, you can use, like I said, I was debating on the not so basic pants, because the rise on those is just a lower rise. Or you can even attach, do the bib and do a skirt. You can use the Be Smart jumper, and actually that comes with straps already. So really I could grab those straps from the Be Smart jumper and add them to this pattern as well, so you could use those so you don't have to measure and do that. It's like all of that measurement and everything's already done for you, and then all you're doing is the bib. So it's really up to you. You could use this for hacking it with many other things, and if you already have some bottoms that you want to take the waist off and add this to, that can also work. I know you're probably like, well, why are you at your serger if you're saying you're just gonna baste? I'm gonna go ahead and sew it on at my serger, because I find that taking serger threads off, it's almost just as easy as taking the sewing off. Maybe not, but to me it's pretty easy, so I'm just gonna go ahead and go for it. That's who I am. All right, friends, the moment of truth. I think this is perfection. I will have to hem the pants a little bit because they're a little bit big. Obviously I have to put the straps on. We're gonna do that next, but I wanted to try it on before I moved on. I think this is gonna be adorable once the straps are on. I will say though that I'm I'm a little bit bummed that I didn't add pockets, because I think that would add another dimension to this with the pockets. So I might undo the side seams and add some pockets in there. There is a tutorial on how to do pockets on things with side seams on our channel, so you can go ahead and go check that out. My iron's turning off. But this is turned out super cute. Now I'm super excited to go ahead and finish it. So let's go ahead and add some straps, and then I can take some cute pictures and show you just exactly how it turned out. All right, since I'm here by myself, I'm gonna have to measure this on my own. So we're gonna start right here at the waist, where I'm going to attach the strap, and I'm going to fold it over and see how long that is. For me, it's 27 inches, about 27 inches. but I want 26, about 26 inches, but I want a little bit of extra so that I can either tie it or do whatever I want to do. So I'm just going to go to like, give it another extra 10 inches. So I'm going to go to 36 instead of 26. I'm going to do 36 long. I'm going to cut 2 of them, one for this side, one for the other side. And I think I want them to be about 2 inches wide. So I'm going to cut them about, I don't know, maybe I want them to be, yeah, 2 inches wide. So I'm going to cut them about 4.5 inches wide by, did I say 36? By 36. And then I'm going to go ahead and see how that works and attach them. Yeah, 36. So let's do that. All right, now that those are cut out, I'm going to fold each one right sides together and sew the edges right sides together. At the one side, I'm going to go down and over and go all the way across. And then at the other side, I'm going to leave it raw because that's the side that's going to attach to the bottom, to the back, so you won't be able to see it anyway. All right, now we're going to turn these right side out. Alrighty, now we're going to grab our bottoms, and what we're going to do is we're going to go from, just pulling all these basting stitches off. Oops. I'm going to go from that middle part, and I'm going to go about 2 inches to the side. Whoops. About 2, let's go 3. I'm just going to do 3 inches. Mark that there. And 3 inches, mark that there. And then I'm going to grab where the raw edge is and make sure that this is even. You can go ahead and give it a good steam. I just want to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab that. Well, you could tuck in that raw edge. It really doesn't matter because it's knit, so it's going to be fine, but you can tuck it in and top stitch it right there so that way I'm going to place it right behind here, and I'm going to sew it right on to the back of my pant. And you can do like a little square with a little X on it, or however you want to sew that on, and then do the same for the other one. So I'm going to go sew that on, and then they'll crisscross and come out to the top, to the front, and then we'll figure out the front. So as you can see, it's like a little triangle with a little X on it, and that will keep it nice and a good hole there. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Alright, I'm going to hem it up. I probably will just do like a 2-inch hem and see what happens then, and then go from there, because I do want them to be long, but I did add extra length to the bottom of these pants just to make sure that they were going to be long enough, because I do want them to be long. But I don't want them to be like so long that I'm like dragging them on the ground. So I'm going to do a 2-inch hem, but I'm not going to cut any of the fabric off. So we'll see once I'm done with this 2-inch hem and I try them on, see what I want to do. And obviously this is your preference, and you know, going by your height and everything, what you do. I tend to always add extra length, about 1 inch or 2, to my bottoms when I'm sewing them, just in case, because I am 5'7", so I'm supposed to add like 1 inch. No. Yes, 1 inch, but I just want to I always add extra just in case. But because these sit a little bit lower than intended, they were already longer, but you know, it's better to subtract now than to it be too short and then I'll be like, no. Alright friends, we are done with our overalls. I think they turned out super cute. All I did to the top right now is I tied on a little knot and then I just sewed them on. Because they're knit, they stretch so they could come on off. So I haven't decided yet what I want to do here. If I want to do buckles, if I want to do a buttonhole, what I want to do right here. So you let me know, comment below and let me know what you think I should do. Also, I didn't do pockets like I said, so I might add those on later. Let me know if that's something you'd like to see a tutorial on, how to add these pockets. And also, do we want to add a bib pocket to this as well? Let me know, comment below. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please comment, like, share, subscribe if you haven't. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you, next time, would you do different bottoms? Do you want to do the skirt version? What version do you want to do? I hope you have a great rest of your day. Comment, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!